Right. Good afternoon. So we studied about character entity in the previous class. So let me take a minute to revise that one because that's very important, not for exam, but often we use in web pages. So first of all, you should know the purpose of using character entity, right? So in HTML, some characters or some symbols are reserved for some special purposes. Example, that less than, greater than, those angle brackets, right? These are some examples, few examples. So these characters are reserved for some purposes. So when we use them on a web page, or when we try to show them on a web page as a content, the browser will confuse, because in browser's mind, that symbol or those symbols have the different meaning. So browser gets confused and refuse to show the content. So in that case, you have to display those reserved characters in a different manner. This is where character entity comes in, right? So I explained some of the character entities which we used. In fact, I explained 4 of them. There is a character entity for less than symbol, another character entity for greater than. For space, we have a character entity. Even for ampersand symbol, we have a character entity. So there may be some others too. Okay, right. So that's it. We studied about that. That's a very small part, but I took some time to explain. Right. Today, we have to take some other tags or other attributes in HTML. But look here, up to now, we have covered most of the things in HTML. In fact, most of the important tags and attributes have been covered. Hereafter, we will have to take only few, and also they may have less importance, right? Look here. If you take a web page, the background of the web page is always white. That's the default setting, right? White background, black letters. What about my voice? Is it clear?
No, sir.
No, sir.
But yes or no? If something wrong, right, you have to inform me. Right, so the default setting, white background, black letters. You may take paragraph, maybe list, right, maybe heading, you know, the letters are in black color, font color, right, and the white background. But if you want, you can change both. You can change the background color of the web page as well as the font color of your text. But now I'm going to change the background color of the web page first, right? Thereafter, we can come and change something in terms of fonts. Okay, right. Have a look at that. So I just want to edit my previous coding, previous HTML file. Right, okay. So just, okay, let me type a sentence. This is a sentence or something. Right. So here, as you can see, the background of the web page is white, right? I'm talking about the body of your web browser, right? Look at that, it is white. That's the default setting. So let's change the background color. Look, to change the background color, we don't need any tag, right? There is no tag needed. We need an attribute. Remember that first. No tag needed, only attribute is needed. But you should know where the attribute is added, because you know attributes are added for elements. So you have so many elements. Look, for this area, for this entire web page, the responsible tag is body. Okay, body is the responsible tag for displaying this body, right? Okay, so body is the responsible tag for displaying this body, right? Body part of the web browser. So the attribute should be added for this element. So leave a space and add the attribute. It's very meaningful. BG color. Okay, BG color, often asked in MCQs. Remember that BG background, right? BG background color, one word, BG color. Since it is an attribute, it needs equal. Then the value must be given. Here the value is the color. You can guess it, right? That's simple. The color of the background. So let's say I just want to give pink. So within double quotes, give the color of the name. Give the name of the color, pink. That's it. So save your work and see your output. Look at that. Now the background of this web page goes to pink. Of course, you can represent the color in hexadecimal too. We already discussed, right? We already discussed about colors. So that is also possible. Let's say a hash. Let me give a color, right? I don't know what it is, but I give a color. Look at them. First two digits belong to a red color. Then next two belongs to green. The last two belongs to blue, right? RGB. So definitely there is a color represented. Look at that. Right? You have a color there. So this is how the color, the background color of the web page is changed. BG color. Okay, BG color equal the color name. Look once again. This BG color attribute can be added not only for body, because in this particular instance, I wanted the pink color, or I wanted any color for the entire web page, for the background of the web page. So that's the reason why I have added that BG color for the body, because as we discussed earlier, body is the responsible tag for the entire body of the web browser. But suppose say you have a table. Often we use this one for table too. Say you have a table. You want a background color for the table, because table also has white background. That is the default setting. Suppose if you want to make your table as an attractive one, you need some background color. To change the background color of the table, yes, you need to use same attribute, BG color. But as a student, you should know where the BG color attribute is added. Because in table, you have so many tags, right? Table is there, TR there, TH there, TD there. So you should know where it is added. You should be able to choose the right place. Actually, that skill is needed. You must have that skill. Okay, let me take a small table. I have already created a table previously, right? So let me take a table. Right, look at that. We have a table here. This is the table. Okay, look at that. So the background color of this table is white. So let's set a background color for this table, right? So same attribute. Attribute is same, BG color. Anybody? Can you tell me the element or tag where this attribute, attribute BG color is added? For which tag BG color is added?
Table.
Yes, because table is the responsible tag for the entire table. Look here, we have the table here, right? The table is being displayed on the web page. It is because of this one. The major one is this one. Maybe the other things also responsible, right? TR, TH, they are responsible for, but for the entire table, this element is must. So you need to add this attribute for table. So far we have added border with cell padding. So let's add this attribute as the another one, right? So leave a space, BG color equal, sorry, give a color, right? Let me give purple or something. Right, look at that. Now the table background has been set to purple. Okay, right. Look, now I got the table in purple color, but at the same time, I wanted the first row in a different color because, you know, first row has headings. So it would be better to differentiate the first row. So I thought that it would be better to set the first row in red color, right? Red color background. So now in this case, you don't need to, right? You don't need to raise this BG color purple because that is the one which is responsible for the entire table. Okay, right. After that, after setting that one, go to the first row, right? Look at the first row. So this TR is the responsible tag for the first row. So go inside and do the same thing. Leave a space, BG color. Same thing, right? BG color equal, let's say yellow or something. Yellow. So now what happens? Look at that. You know, in HTML, instructions are carried out one after the other. So first of all, browser reads this. Okay, then only it comes to the other instructions. So when browser reads this line, it sets purple for the entire table as background color. Do you agree? Because this is the one which is written first in the body. So this must be taken first, and purple color should be set as the background for the entire table. But after setting that one, browser comes to the caption, okay, it displays. Then browser comes to this spot. So when it comes to this spot, it sets the row to yellow. So which means first row, right? Okay, now maybe minutes ago, it was in purple, but that particular row will be set to yellow now. Okay, so look at the output now. Right, that first row is in yellow. The remaining rows or remaining cells are in purple color. Even if you want, you can change the background of a particular cell. That is also possible. Let's say, let's change the background of the last cell, math. So I want maybe a blue color here, right? Blue background for this last cell. So we should use the same attribute, right? Here also BG color, but that BG color should be added to the right tag. So let's go and take this. Look here. This is the responsible line for that particular cell. Look at that math. So come to that particular one. Here, you need to add this BG color for TD, right? Earlier, first of all, we added to table, then we added the BG color for TR, but this time we adding to TD, same one, BG color equal blue. Okay, so now the last cell is in blue background. Okay, so whenever you want to change the background, the attribute is same. Doesn't matter, it's a web page background or maybe table background, you can apply. So even here, I can add the background of the browser, right? A BG color equal pink or something. So now what happens? The web page, the body of the web page goes pink, goes to pink. Look at that. Okay, so this is about background color. It's a very simple one, but you have to remember the place where you have to add this BG color, right? Otherwise, it's very simple, right? So when we study about BG color, we have to remember one more thing: setting an image as the background image of a web page. We already talked about images, but we inserted images as a content previously. Do you remember the coding IMG-SRC, right? IMG-SRC is for inserting an image as a content of the web page, which means that image is a part of your web page, like a paragraph or list. Image is there. We discussed that one. You all know about how to insert image. Okay, that's a different thing. But now I'm talking about how to set an image as the background of the web page. Because in order to make your web page as an attractive one, sometimes you need an image for your background, like setting a background color. We set the background color white in order to change the web page as an attractive one. So similarly, images can be set. Okay, let's see how to set an image as the background of the web page. Don't forget, to set an image as the background, you need an attribute. Here also, there is no need for having any tag. It is attribute. At the same time, you should know the place where the attribute is added, because we want that image for the entire web page, right? That image has been set, or that image has to be set as the background image for the entire web page. Okay, for what is the responsible component? Again, body, right? Body is the responsible component for the entire web page, right? Take the body, leave a space. To change or to set the background image, the attribute is background, right? Background. So students often confuse with background color and background image. Don't forget, background color is very simple. It's very meaningful. Background color, BG color. But if it is background image, this is background. One word, background, equal. Anybody, what could be the value here? You can guess it.
The path to the image.
Yes, good. So for, you need to insert an image, right? So the path for the image should be given. We already discussed about the path when we insert image to the web page, right? So, but if your image and this particular web page are in the same location, it is enough to give the image name. Okay, if you look at that, my web page name is home.html. If home.html is in one location and the image is in another location, then the whole path is needed. Then only browser identifies. But if home.html and that particular image are in the same location, maybe in the same folder or maybe in the same drive, there is no need for having the entire path. Okay. So this time I want to insert an image, right? Insert an image in the same folder. Okay, look here. I have two images. Let me insert the first this image 345. There is an image, right? 345.jpg. I'm going to insert this one. So it's very simple, double quote 345.jpg. Okay, no need for having the entire path because this is my web page. Okay, this is my web page. This is the image to be inserted. Both of them are in the same folder. I have a folder there, grade 11 English medium 2021. This has both of them. So no need to give the whole path. Just give the image name. That's it. Save your work and see your output. Right, look here. The zoom has been increased. That's the problem. I set that to the normal. Right, look at that. Now So now the image has been set as the background one, but you are able to see that image in multiple times because the size of the image is smaller than this web browser body. Okay, the body of this web browser is slightly larger than the size of the image. So by default, the original image will be displayed. It is displayed in the original size. If your browser is slightly larger, then the image has to be replicated, right? Look at that. So on the right side, you can see some part of the image is duplicated. Maybe you look at the bottom part. Again, look at the sky, right? Some part of the sky duplicated because some parts, some empty spaces are there on the bottom. That's why it is there, right? So sometimes if the image is too big, you can see only a part of the image. Here, the problem is the image is small, the web page is big, so it is duplicated or it is replicated. But suppose if the image is too big, let's say I have another image, 123.jpg. This is big. I can show you the pixels. Look at them. 4,608, 3,072. Around 4,600 pixels width and 3,000 pixel height. Imagine the size of the image, it's too big. But the picture which we added just now is small. Look at that. 960. Only, there are only 960 width and 530 height. So it's very small. But here it's around 1,000, right? 4,000, 3,000. Okay, let me add this 1, 2, 3. 123.jpg. Now you could see only a part of the image. Look at that. See, you are able to see only some part of the leaves or something, because the thing is the body of the web page is smaller than the image. So maybe a part of the image is enough to cover your web page. Look at that. I will open that image. Look at that. This is the image. Only you can see the top part, right? Maybe those leaves are being displayed here, right? But the other part is not displayed. It is hidden. The reason is the web page is too small. Suppose if you have so many paragraphs and some other contents on the web page, then you can see the entire image, because now your have you understood? Your web page height is small because you don't have any content. But if your web page is growing, there may be paragraphs, there may be some pictures, tables, then you can see the other part of the image. Okay. So that's the thing about setting the image. The attribute is background. The value should be the path to the image. Of course, you can set the background image for the table too. Okay. If you want, you can do the same thing as you did in BG color. We added BG color for the table, right? This is possible for table too. I'm not going to explain, but if you can, if you want, you can try that. That works. Okay. So always study these two things together, then only you can easily remember them, because both of them are related to background. That's why I'm telling you to study them together. BG color, that is for background color. Background, that is for setting an image as the background of the web page. Okay, right. So the next one. Did I explain font tag? Yes or no? Did I explain the tag font?
No, sir.
No, right? Okay. So let's discuss about this one. This is also a very small thing. So we can do some formattings related to font, especially, you know, whenever you insert a text, it may be a heading, it may be a paragraph, it may be whatever, right? List, you know, there is a font is set as default one. You know, there are so many fonts, right? Calibri, Times New Roman, Elephant, there are so many English fonts are there. But if you have some experiences with fonts, you can see or you can observe that one font is displayed in all the contents. If it is a heading, that font is there. Even if you insert a paragraph, the same font is there because that font has been set as default. But if you want to change the font, that is possible, right? You can change the font. Yes, as we discussed minutes ago, the color of the font is always black. Doesn't matter, paragraph or table or heading, black. We can change that, right? And also, if you observe the size of the font, you can see the similarity. Say you insert a table, you also inserted a paragraph, assume that you also inserted a list. If you check the size of the font, you can find the similarity. All these have, right? All these have the similar, right? So the font size also same. So what we are going to do is we are going to change these three things in terms of font. Going to change the font, going to change the font color, and also going to change the font size. Okay, let's see. Right. Look here, for changing the font related things, the tag is font. Okay, in order to change font related things, the tag font should be used. So let's see, I use font like this. I started the font tag here and added a sentence there and then close the font tag. Let's save the work, save the web page and see the output. Right, look at that. There is no difference at all. Even if you remove the font, you will have the same answer. Look at that. Now I remove the font, but look at the output, it's same. This is a sentence, it is same. So which indicates that, right, which indicates that the font needs an attribute. Without attribute, you know, the font tag is useless. If you want to make this font tag as a meaningful one, definitely you have to add attributes. Okay, look here. First of all, I want to change the font color. So don't forget the tag is font. Leave a space. It's too simple. Whenever you need a change in the color, it's color. We already used this one for, we already used this color as an attribute. Where or when? Anybody?
Background color.
Huh?
Background color.
No. That is not other BG color, right? That's BG color. I'm talking about color. We already used color in one class. I think I explained. Did we study about horizontal rule?
Yes.
Did I explain horizontal rule?
Yes.
Yes.
So there we discussed, right? Okay, it's up to you to study and remember. I can't take everything again and again, right? I already explained about color. So we studied about horizontal rule. There we used, there we changed something, right? In horizontal rule, we change the width, we change the size, and we also change the color. You can't forget these things, right? So this is font color equal the color name. That's it, right? Font, the attribute is color, then the value is color name. Of course, you can give hexadecimal value too. Okay, look at that now. It is in red color. Let me increase the font size. Right, it is in red color. Right. Right. So this is the first one, changing the font color. Similarly, you can change the font, right? So as I told you earlier, look at here, I have one sentence there, right? And also I just want to add another heading. So let me type H1, right? This is a heading. Right? So we have a sentence and a heading. Right? Look at the, let me increase the size. Look at the font, same. You can observe or you can easily compare the font by using these characters. Look at that, compare these characters, T, similar, right? Look at that H, similar, right? So these two, actually first one is not the heading, right? That is just a normal sentence. Second one is a heading. So both have or both are in the same font. Even if you if you insert a table, that also has the same font. Okay, so let's change the font of the sentence first, right here. In order to change the font of that sentence, okay, it is font, right? The tag is font. The attribute here also we need an attribute called face. Okay, font face. Remember these things. Font face equal. Here the value would be the name of the font, right? You have to give the name of the font as the value. So let me give Calibri, right? Calibri. So Calibri is a font. So let's save the work. Now look here, the first sentence in Calibri. Look at them. You can see that, right? You can see the change in the first sentence. Look at the T and this T. They are two different T's, right? Because this is in Calibri, this is in default. Can anybody guess the font which is displayed here? What font is this? The default font. You have some experiences in working some other application software, right? What font is this?
Calibri body.
No. What is it?
Times New Roman.
Yes, this is Times New Roman, right? This is Times New Roman. Times New Roman is the default font in HTML, but you can change into any other font, right? But you have to make sure that the font is in your computer. Suppose if the font is not in your computer, it gets the Times New Roman as the default one, right? So let me change the second one, heading. So I use the font here. Face. See, there is a font called Arial, right? Arial. That is also one of the commonly used font, Arial. Font face, Arial. Then the heading is there. Finally, I close the font. You have to close the font, right? Then only that effect is closed or stopped. Right? Now look at the output. Right? You can see that, right? The first one is in Calibri. The second one is in Arial. Okay, Arial font. So this is the coding, font face equal the font name. Okay, so say so suppose if I make a mistake in, see, there is a font called Arial Black, right? There is a font called Arial Black. This is Arial Black, but see, I made a mistake in typing the font name. See, there must be a space in between Arial and Black, but I forgot to leave the space. Right now, look at the output. Now it takes the, what?
Default one.
Yes, it is default font. Now it takes the Times New Roman. So you have to make sure that the spelling is correctly given. If it is not, browser cannot understand, right? Now the problem is browser doesn't understand this font. So what it did was showing the default font. This is default font. Similarly, if the font is not installed in the computer, it takes the default font. Okay, right. So this is how font is changed, right? So we discussed about changing the font color and also changing the font. At last, we have to take font size. Okay, changing the font size. Look here. Right, look here. In order to change the font size, it is size. You have to add an attribute called size. Everything is meaningful. So font size equal, then the size of the font must be given, right? Size of the font that is given in a number called point, right? The font size is given in a number called point. Point, that's a unit for measuring that size, right? Point. So here, look here, I will give 5 as font size. Okay, font size equal to 5 point, but 5 is enough. You don't need to write point there, 5. Let's see the output first. I have to reduce the zoom size. Let me take the default size. Okay, now look at that. The first, I have 2 sentences. One is without having the font size. The second one is not in the font size, but the first one has font size. Look at the change. The first sentence is slightly larger than the second one. Okay, second one is the default one. Second one is the default one, but first one is slightly larger. Okay, keep watching. I will increase the font size as 6. Okay, font size 6. Let's save it and refresh. Now look at that. The first one becomes larger, right? It is further increased. Okay, let me give 7 now. Font size 7 point. And refresh it. It is further increased, right? You can see the size of it, right? This is the default one. The second one is the default one, but the first one gets the font size 7. Let me set to 8. 8 and refresh it. But look here, I'm refreshing, but there is no change at all in the first sentence. So what's the conclusion? Anybody? What is it? What is it? I told you to watch it carefully, right? I gradually increased the font size, right? But when we were in 7, we got this size. Even after changing that as 8, nothing happens, right? Look at that. Nothing happens. So what is the conclusion? You must have some sort of thinking ability, right? What is it?
We can't increase size after.
So what's the meaning? Tell me the
Maximum
conclusion.
size.
What's the meaning?
7 is the maximum font size.
Yes, the largest font size is 7. Right? You must have that ability. The largest font size is 7. Because thereafter, even if I increase the number, it doesn't work. So the largest font size is 7. Okay. If you put 8 or 10 or 11 or it never takes that number. It must be 7. Okay. I put 11, but you can see the size. It is 7. Okay. Right. The smallest font size is 1. Right. Look at that. You can see the size. It's too small, right? You can see the size, but it's too small. Okay, that's the smallest one. Largest font size is 7. You don't need to remember them, but if you can remember them, right? I don't think that they are asked in exams, but as a student who learns such things, it would be better to remember. Smallest one is 1. Okay, look here. I just want to put 4 here. Font size is equal to 4. Refresh it. Look at the first sentence and the second sentence. I hope that you can see them on your screen. Are they same in size or different?
Different.
Yes. Which one is larger than the other one? Which one is larger?
First one is larger than
Yes, first one is slightly larger than the second one. Okay, right. So let me change this as 3. Okay, 3. And save the work and change it. Now, what about those sizes? Are they same?
Yeah,
Yes.
Both are same.
So now what is the conclusion?
Default size is
Default size.
Yes, good. The default font size of HTML is 3, right? Default size is 3. Doesn't matter. You insert a table or paragraph or normal sentence or list, everything will get font size 3. 3 is set as default. But if you want, you can increase. Decreasing the font size may not be a good idea because it looks very small. But sometimes it depends on the font. Say, there are some fonts which are larger in nature. For example, Arial font. There are some other fonts, Calibri. So they are, if you compare their size with Calibrio, with Calibrio, maybe Times New Roman, they are big. So in this case, you can change the font size into 2 or maybe 1, right? But generally, decreasing the font size may not be a good idea, because if you decrease, they become very smaller. But you can increase. That's your wish, right? But the largest one should be 7. Okay. So font size 3 is the default one. So largest one 7, smallest one 1, and then default size is 3. Okay. Right. Look here. I will show the font size in a different way. Right. Look here. Keep watching. I put a plus there. Right. And 2 here. Okay. 2. Save the work and see the output. Now you can see the change in the font size, right? It is increased. So now I put the plus and 3. Keep watching. You can get the conclusion later. Plus 3. Font size is equal to plus 3. It is further increased, right? Plus 4. Again increased. Plus 5. Is not increased. So what's the meaning of it? Plus 4.
these numbers are added to the default size. 3 plus
Yes. Yes. Plus 4 means that 4 is added to the default size, which means 3 plus 4. Right? Default size plus 4, default size is 3. So 3 plus 4 is 7. This is the maximum. So suppose if I put 5, which means 3 plus 5, right? Default size plus 5, it is 8. 8 is not a size in HTML, right? That's why it is not increased. So you can put up to 4. Okay, font size equal plus 4 means default size plus 4. This is another way to change the font size. Even this is also possible. So can you guess this? Can you guess this font size? What is it?
1.
Yes. This is also similar. Default size -2. Default size is 3. So 3 minus 2, it's 1, right? Default size -2. So it must be 1. Look at the output, right? The font size is very similar. This is in 1. Clear? So these are the things about changing the font related things. We can change 3 things for font. We can change the color of the font using the attribute color. We can change the font of that particular font using the attribute face. And of course, we can change the size of the font. Right, so we can change the size of the font using the attribute size. Okay, so these are the things about font. So let's take let's take one more thing. Right, let's take one more thing. Showing a text as a moving text. We can show some text on the web page, which can move from one place to another. You could see such things on web pages. They show like flash news or some other things. They often come on one side and gradually move towards the other side, right? So let's see how to do that. Right, so in order to move a text from one side to another, we need an attribute called marquee, right? It has to be pronounced as marquee, M-A-R-Q-U-E-E, marquee. So then give the text to be moved. So let me give flash news or something. This is the text to be moved, and then close the marquee. Okay, close the marquee tag. So marquee starts and then give the text to be moved and close the marquee. Save your work and see that output. You can see that, right? Look at that. Let me increase the size. You can see that now, right? So it comes from the right side and goes towards the left side. It is a continuous effect, right? When it vanishes on the left side, it starts appearing on the right side again. Look at that. So this is marquee. Even you can change the direction of it. That may not be important, but let me show that. So if you want to see now what happens, it comes or it starts from right side and gradually moves towards left side. But suppose if you want to change the direction, you need an attribute called direction. This is not important direction, but if you want, you can remember direction equal. So now say, I want this text to move towards right side, right? This text has to be moved towards right side. So here the direction must be right. Okay, it has to be moved towards right side. So direction equal to right. Now look here, it will be opposite to that current effect. Look at that, it goes in this direction. So now as I can understand that, you know, the default setting would be left. This is the default setting. So even look at that, this is default. But since it is default, you don't need to put marquee direction left. Even marquee is enough, right? Even you can move that towards up, maybe towards down. They are possible. Okay, let me type up the marquee direction up. Now what happens? It goes towards up. Look at that. It goes towards up. It starts from that particular place and it goes towards up. It never comes from the bottom, because you know in the bottom side there may be other contents. Imagine, so there may be some other paragraphs, pictures. If it comes from the bottom, it affects everything. That may be the reason why it starts from that place and gradually moves towards up. But when it comes to left or right, there is no issue, because even if it comes from left side, there is no letters in that particular path. So it never affects. Look at that, even if it is down, it never goes towards bottom, right? It goes towards down, but immediately disappeared. Look at that. Because maybe in the next lines, you may have some paragraphs and some pictures and everything. So if it comes here, it affects everything, right? Because you, as a user, you will focus on some images or maybe some paragraphs. What happens if it comes slowly? It troubles you. That may be the reason why it immediately flashes and disappeared. Okay. So these are the four different directions. Marquee is a tag. So you can set the direction as right or up or down. Left is the default setting. Clear? So remember, this is a text related tag, marquee. Even you can put an image for moving, right? Here, say we put this one, right? So in between these two marquee, you have flash news. So whatever within these two marquee will be moved. So whatever given, say I have an image, IMG, SRC, right, equal. So let me give an image here, ph.png. ph.png. Okay, now what happens? This is the starting marquee. This is the closing marquee. In between them, you have an image. So definitely it moves. Look at that. It's a big image. Let me increase the font size. Sorry, that size. See, now it is moving. Even you can change the speed of this effect, right? We don't want to take much thing, but everything is possible. Okay. So this is about marquee. So that's it for today. Today we have taken some of the very basic things, right? Changing color, font, maybe background color, background image, font related things. But I might have explained these earlier, but I thought that these are related to attributes. So that's why I didn't explain them at the time when we started, because when we started, we discussed about bold, italic, underline. So we could study these things with them, but there we didn't have any knowledge about attribute. That's the reason why I have waited and taken at last. Okay, so practice them. These can be asked in exams. All right, so that's it for today. So we have almost completed the HTML, not the particular unit, right? The unit is not about HTML, the unit is about web designing. So we have almost completed the HTML. There may be one or two tags might be missed, but I will check, and if I missed, I will explain. But still we have to discuss some other things in web designing. So let's take them in the next class. Thank you.